I don't try to reinvent the wheel. I think a lot of people out there try to start from scratch, and it can take a lot longer. If you look at someone, your future self, right? Someone that's doing what you want to do successfully, how did you get there and how you're doing it today? That's invaluable information that they're giving you compared to a $20 lunch. I'll pay that every time, $100, whatever it looks like. I was able to build relationships and look at some of the experts that have been doing this successfully, and I learned very quickly how to do it, tailored it to my own style. And that's how I was able to be successful.
You have to have a scope of work. We can't just offer everything. We have to pick a certain thing and be good at it, and that's kind of where we fell into the idea of like a monthly route basically, or subscription almost.
If you don't want to work with a person for 10 plus years, then don't even try to go into business with them at the start.
When I go around and telling people, oh, I'm going to start a business, right? They're kind of already expecting great things, and then they give you that pat on the back like, hey, great job, you started a business. But here's the deal, you get all these great jobs, and because I'm a people pleaser, it's like feeding my battery. Right? So now I'm like, oh, I did such a great job, but guess what? You haven't done shit yet. You don't fucking deserve the good job. I don't want to get all that instant gratification, because the whole point of working on something, it's all about doing it. And if I already feel like I got the recognition for doing it, then I'm not going to really work as hard to go and do it.
You have to pick your battles as a manager. When something is constantly an issue, you have to sit down with the person and respectfully tell them why it's an issue, instead of just yelling at them or making them feel bad about it. Because if they don't understand like the repercussions of it, they're just going to do it again.
Don't outsource things. Figure out how to do it yourself. There's a time it takes to truly get momentum. When you're a startup with limited capital, there's a lot of hidden costs that you overlook. And when you get past a certain point, then you can afford the marketing. At the very beginning, you don't have a ton of capital. You're digging yourself a deeper hole, because it usually there's some time before that money comes back around.
I am incredibly honest. And I think that is the reason why I'm at the point that I am right now, is that I'm not this Johnny salesman that's just trying to tell you what you want to hear. If I end up being in a situation where I'm putting a certain kid in front of a coach that I know that they're not going to offer this kid, right? Nor are they even going to pay attention to this kid. If I start doing that too often, coaches are going to write me off real quick. They're going to stop answering my text messages. They want reliable information, because just like anybody else, there's so much time in the day.
I think Mark Cuban, he's a really big advocate of this, building the business without paying yourself anything. So you have just strictly cash flow that you can just keep reinvesting it back into the business. Double your money every time. Just keep reinvesting it. Eventually, if you continue to just kind of recycle that over and over and over again, now I can take a step back and I can comfortably be taking money. Most people aren't willing to do that because they don't want to go through that uncomfortable stage of working basically 2 jobs. Obviously very, very tough and very time consuming, but if you can't do that in the front end, then it's never going to be successful.
The future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. That's so true of ChatGPT, right? Like I would say that probably 90% of people don't even know it's out yet.
I've been having it do all kinds of stuff. You could have it write business plans. You could have it write an essay for you.
It's already written blog posts for me and the stuff I'm working on. If it's a blog post or if it's an email, if it's whatever, I don't need it to be perfect. I want it to be poetry.
If it can do 80-90% as good as you were going to do in 0.5% of the time.
Well, the hard part for me is like the blank page. For me to just say like,
give me something to start with,
and then let me take it from 2 to 10. That's the cool part, is you can just say like, based on that, figure this out.
It's very good at distilling things down.
Buying a house for someone who doesn't have an actual W-2 clock in, clock out job, to prove what you need to prove to be able to buy a home, hardest thing in the whole entire world. It made us want to get an accountant. She ended up starting us a corporation, starting this whole system of us paying ourselves paychecks. We were able to go 2 years without doing any write-offs. Even though we bought a bunch of crap that we could have written off, we didn't write it off because we wanted to prove the income so we could buy a home. Once we bought the home, now we're back to write-offs.